how good did that instill felt, and have you been able to really take it all in at this point?
I have. I'm. It's like they say like this. There's a saying that says, when you can't fall asleep when your reality is it's better than your dream, and that's kind of how I feel now. But the cool thing about it, there's always in the sport of mixed martial arts, there's always oppositions, there's always competition. So at the same time, it's as good as I feel. That's as disciplined as hard as I have to train now, because there's a bunch of X's on my back, because I just defeated the greatest fighter of all time, and then now with TJ, the greatest bantamweight of all time. So everybody's out to get me. They're out to kill me. So.
And how is that? I mean, there's a balance there. Like you kind of said, you need to be able to enjoy your wins a little bit, but at the same time, the minute it happens, like you already immediately have that target on your back. So how do you balance that? How are you able to enjoy what you've accomplished and the products of your hard labor, and also just keep an eye out? How do you balance those things?
You do. You separate fights. You separate the hard knocks life with your everyday life. Yeah. I don't like to mix it. Like people when I'm not fighting, when I'm not training, when I'm here even kind of on vacations, I don't think about fighting. Like yeah. I'm a person. I'm not the guy that after a fight he goes back to the gym on Monday. Yeah. That's not me. Oh yeah. I've been doing this since I was 11 years old, and I know when my body needs rest, when my mind needs rest. So I feel like juggling both things it's not an issue with me. I separate it. When I'm normal, I'm normal. When I'm training, I'm a savage. Yeah. So I don't necessarily mix, or at least I think I don't.
And the way it ended, I think, I don't like the word, but we have to use it, the controversy, right? There ended up being some controversy, and I think a lot of it was because TJ was so clear in that he didn't think that the fight should have been stopped. And now, it's been a few days. You were able to look back on it and watch the fight. How do you feel about the stoppage now, going back on it?
No, it's not my decision. I did my job. I did my job. I was going to hurt him regardless. He wasn't going to make it past that. He wasn't going to make it past that minute, I promise you. I'd put my house on it. I put everything that I own on it. He was not going to make it past, because I saw him hurt. And it's you have to understand too, these hands, these hips, there's strength involved. When you get wrapped, it's hard. It's to cast, and then you add the glove to it. I mean, it don't take much. Yeah. And you can't be taking punishment like that. Yeah. You can't be dropping 3 damn times, even if it's in 10 seconds, and expect the ref not to stop it. I think it was a good stop. I think there needs to be more of that. Granted, it was a championship fight, but at the end of the day, it's not my fight. Yeah. I can tell you, my hand was raised at the end of the day, and that's all there is to it.
But then, here you are, you have this really big, amazing, quick win, and the conversation ends up being a little bit about that. Does it bother you that there's even that conversation?
No, because now there's a storyline. Now there's another storyline. Now he wants to run it back. Dana White wants to run it back. I mean, I want to run it back too. If they say never leave it up to the judges, but nobody ever says never leave it up to the ref. TJ, never leave it up to the ref. Never leave it up to the ref, man. And that's exactly what happened. He left it up to the ref, and they stopped it.
And like you said, speaking of running it back, immediately you said that. I remember right up there in the octagon, you said, let's do it, and let's do it at the 135 division. Obviously, it's a little early to tell, but is that your plan now, to run it back at the 135 division?
Well, we're gonna see. We're gonna see how everything plans out. We got to talk to Uncle Dana White. We gotta speak to him. Obviously, I know TJ wants to fight, and yeah, I wouldn't mind fighting him. But at the same time, I gotta respect too some of the guys that are fighting tonight for the interim belt, and we'll see how they perform. And there's an economy in mixed martial arts. Yeah. Marlon or somebody could win in the next 10 seconds and be like, hey, Henry, you're out. He's going to fight, or who knows, I might fight one of them.
That was my next question, because like you said, you kind of put a target on your back in 2 different divisions, and Marlon did say yesterday that he would fight you. So going up to 135, would TJ be the only fight that would interest you, or would you be willing to maybe do a non-title fight or fight some of these guys?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, if I go up, it would have to be a title shot. It would immediately, because I got about at 25, and I can't be fighting some number 2 or 3 guy, with all due respect. But man, I think there's a lot of fights for me. The thing is I'm a chameleon, man. I I feel into 135 very well. I think I'll be bigger than all of them, to be quite honest with you. With the science that I'm using and how I feel, I think people will be impressed. I mean, at 25, there's nobody in the world that's nearly that could match my strength. So Marlon Moraes, I mean, all those guys are on my hit list too. I mean, I would love to fight those guys. To me, it's all about competition.
Yeah.
You know, I love to compete. I love to push my mind, body, and soul. And all those guys who've ever doubted me, all those guys, because sometimes I'll read up on those fighter picks. I mean, everybody and their mama doubted me against this fight. But I'm used to it. And absolutely, I welcome challengers like that. Yeah. And I ain't afraid, man. I ain't scared. I love it. I love pressure. I embrace it, and bring it on, man. Bring it on.
You like that? Because I was somebody who I've talked to about this, Kelvin Gastelum, and he talked about how he actually enjoys having sort of like people overlooking him or underestimating him. That kind of fuels him a little bit. Is that something that you sort of enjoy, looking at the picks and going like, oh, they're picking against me? Like, does that fuel you in any way?
In some way it does. I can tell you it doesn't, but in some way it does, because more than anything, I want to let people know that, dude, never underestimate yourself, but really never underestimate me. Never underestimate me, because I've done it time and time again, man. I've been in the history books since being the first high school wrestler to win the U.S. Open in wrestling, which has never been done. Yeah. I was 18 years old, first high schooler to win it, to becoming the youngest in history in Olympic style wrestling in 2008, to beating Demetrius Johnson, the greatest of all time, to knocking out T.J. Dillashaw in 32 seconds. I mean, it's cool because I give people different perspectives. Like, hey, man, Olympic athletes, this guy right here, he's special. He's special, man. Maybe I'm not going to count him out. You can count out Conor McGregor. You can count out all these guys. Don't count me out. Don't count me out.
You, in talking about the 125 division, it's uncertain times, you could say, right? We don't know if it's going to end, but it's been a little tricky, and you might have bought it some life with your win. But at the same time, like, do you worry that if you go up, you might be, putting the 125 division in jeopardy?
The kind of. But if you guys really look at the 125 right now, I mean, they just cut Dustin Ortiz. I mean, this is a guy that just had almost. It could have been a split decision with him and Joe Benavidez. I mean, these are the top guys in the world. You're gonna cut the number 3, number 4 guy in the world. I mean, that's just telling you where the UFC's headed. So, it's unfortunate, man. I'm trying to do my best, but at the same time, I'm not gonna have a belt with nobody in my weight class. You got rid of Ortiz. You got rid of Nicolas Mateos. I mean, you got rid of all these great guys. The baby assassin. I don't know who else they got rid of. There's probably only about maybe 10 of us left, maybe, if that. So it sucks. It's scary, but I mean, this is. I think the UFC. I think they're kind of weeding people out little by little. And by the time I look back, there's nobody. Yeah. So it has nothing to do with me. Mm-hmm. I'm doing my job. I'm fighting for the flyweight division. I said it. I made a negotiation deal with Dana White on national television. I says, if I beat this man Saturday night, my weight class will stay. And he couldn't answer me. But that's just the way it is, guys. I think that's a question that you would have to ask the boss and his people. And see what I feel like I resurrected this division. I speak 3 languages. I'm pretty handsome myself too. I might, why not?
But so at the like you said, I think there's a clear fight for you at 135, or even if Dillashaw maybe wanted the rematch at 125, that could be a possibility. But other than that, like, do you see anybody that you could fight right now there?
No, if TJ wants to run it back at 125 pounds, we could do that. The other person, I'd be more. You know what? I thought about it. We can welcome him too. If he feels like he can still beat me at 25, well, let's run it again. Yeah. But I think right now, and to be quite honest with you, he's my first choice, and it's more of to go to 35 would be more of a legacy. Yeah. But I'm not opposed to him coming down again to 125. I'm not opposed to it. The next person in line for me would be Benavidez.
And speaking of Dillashaw, like yesterday, I think the word that he used to describe it was a fluke. How does hearing that feel for the fighter who just beat him and who put in all the work and did the camp and showed up there? Like, does the word fluke bother you at all hearing that?
No, it's actually kind of a compliment now, because now he's saying he didn't beat me. Now he's saying it's a fluke. Yeah. So now he's saying that it really did happen. Oh. When you say it's a fluke, okay. You know, it's something that wasn't supposed to happen, but it happened.
Yeah.
So, but it happened. You know, so it wasn't that he didn't beat me, and it's okay, man. That just lets you know how he's feeling. I mean, that's who he is. You know, I'm a sore loser too. I don't say it in front of the public, but I'm a sore loser myself. But that's also what makes me great. I think he's just revealing himself a little more to the public, and that's who he is. You know, I don't take offense to it. I really don't.
Yeah.
I'm a very carefree person. You can call me whatever the hell you want. At the end of the day, I know who the hell I am, you know?
Yeah.
I know what I've done. You know, I've achieved more than anybody. I have more accomplishments than probably anybody in the UFC. I've done the hardest things in put everybody's credentials together. I think mine's unmatched, to be quite as a champion right now. I think my credentials are unmatched.
And if it ends up happening that the flyweight division is gone, would you be comfortable just like going the rest of your career as a bantamweight?
Yeah, I think you know, eventually I do want to finish off my career at bantam. I'm a big kid. I'm a big bull. I have a lot of muscle. As you could tell when me and TJ fought, he was surprising. He was actually a little heavier than me. I just found out.
Yeah.
But I felt a lot bigger than him. I felt a lot stronger than him. You know, and that's a credit to my science team at Neuroforce One, the all the technology and the science that we're using. So there's going bantamweight. It's not an issue one bit. I think I'd probably enjoy it.
Yeah.
But that's future talk.
And while you're here in Brazil, do you intend to go up to the Pitbull brothers and train with them at all?
No. I'm actually going to be going out to Australia.
Oh.
I'm straight from here on Sunday. So I'm going to be going out to Australia to go see Kelvin, to go see my boy fight. So I made the initiative to go out there. He watched my fight in California when I beat Demetrius, and we're good friends. And I said, hey, I'm gonna go watch you win your first world title. So I'm gonna be going down to Australia on Sunday.
Did you do any training with the Pitbull brothers before your last fight?
I did. I trained with Patricio, Patricky, Leandro Higo, everybody down there. They've Mano Santana, everybody out there. They're just it's world class training. They may not be in the UFC, but they are some bad people that people don't know about. That people need to know who they are.
One of their trainers, your trainer Eric, how big of a part did he play in getting you to this point?
Captain Eric, I think he's. I think as of right now, I know he was nominated for Coach of the Year 2018. So I think he's in the lead this year. Great coach, great person, great human being, great friend. A true definition of a coach would probably be him, and a guy that almost plays both roles: mentor, coach, bully at times. And you need guys like that are going to tell you your truth. You know, it doesn't mean we don't fight, because we fight a lot, because we're kind of like brothers. But we always come. He puts the plan together. He finds the coaches, the training partners, and he comes up with the schedule, and according to science that we're using, and kind of we tend to create that perfect storm.
And lastly, for me, like you said, it's a little early. You have to talk to Dana. We have to see how these things unfold. But if you had to map out a perfect year for you, a perfect 2019, would it end with possibly a bantamweight belt? How would it look like for you?
Yeah, I think so. I think taking out TJ sometime in July, August, taking him out, taking my belt, and then fighting possibly in December, and to me is being pound for pound the best fighter in the world. Beating TJ, I'd be the only guy with 2 belts, an Olympic gold medal. You'd be crazy not to call me the best pound for pound fighter in the world. So that's the mission. I want to fight 2 more times by the end of this year, and just take heads, man. Put a bunch of heads on a spike. That's my plan.
Since you brought it up, the pound for pound conversation, you did beat Demetrius and then TJ in the way that you did. So how do you feel like you're placed in that conversation right now, the pound for pound conversation?
Well, I'm number 5 right now. I'm number 5, but it really doesn't, like, to me, it's about being number 1. Whether whatever I do, it's about being on top of that podium. Whether if it's a competition of playing checkers, chess, whatever you want to call it, I want to be the best, because I'm in this position to not just be the best in my category, but now you start to think different. Okay, I just beat 2 of the greatest guys to ever step foot in the UFC. Okay, now I have to up it. Now I have to up the bar. What's next? And that's coming out. That's displaying the art of mixed martial arts in the octagon, and letting people know that I am the best. That I'm the best, not just my category, but any weight class.
Thank you. That was it.